Life is weird.
Super weird.
So, what did we decide to do with our fascination for the strange and unusual?
We made a podcast about it. This is Weirdify. Now,
let's get weird.
I'm so happy we have liftoff.
It was a
How are you
process.
feeling, babe? You feel like shit?
I don't feel as like shit like I did the past 2 days ago. Or yesterday was really rough. Yesterday my sinuses were taking a literal shit. I felt like my head was literally going to explode. Like my right eye was like this because I had so much pressure build up. Luckily I bounced back much faster than Michael did. Michael was like down for the count and he had like 101-degree fever for probably more like 4 or 5 days, to be honest.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, he was like bedridden. I'm like over here like working from home, but I started having symptoms late Sunday night. And so then I woke up with like a 99.9, I think, temperature Monday morning. And so I messaged my boss and went immediately and got tested. But I was showing pretty much all the same signs of when Michael had first started getting sick. I was apparently positive. I did the 2 to 3 day test and they did one in each nostril. And so I got a call from the
Did they go to your brain or just in
No,
your
they
nostril?
did not. But they did go like up. So it was not fun. And I'm so weird about stuff around my nose. That's why I haven't gotten like my nose pierced or anything, because I'm constantly like rubbing it. Just anything involving that, it just freaks me out. So it wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't like ideal. But you got to get done. But I got a call from the county and she was like, oh, well, I actually got 2 lab results for you. And one is negative and one is positive. So we're going to rule it as a positive case. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh. But yeah, I was like, okay, well, maybe one nostril is positive. One nostril is negative. But
It's
yeah,
just my left nostril that has COVID.
Yeah.
The right one is safe.
Yeah, the right one is perfectly fine. Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been awful. It's just been like a really shitty cold.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what most people say. I've had a cough and then just like normal congestion or whatever that comes along with being sick. But yeah,
Well, I'm
I've just
very
been
sorry that you're sick with the vid.
We live in a 775 square foot house. So Michael could have isolated himself and it still probably would have, you know what I mean?
It wouldn't have mattered. You share like a toilet, you share a kitchen,
exactly.
you know,
yeah. When you have
door handles.
Yeah. When you have one bathroom and it's close quarters, it is what it is. But both of us had the antibodies in our system to fight it off should we come in contact with anyone else for like 3 more months. So that's good.
That's great.
Luckily, I was able to just hop on and do just like the basic things that I have to do. Otherwise, it's pretty much just me resting. And it was pretty cool because every night, Michael and I watched all of the Marvel Universe movies. So we started from Iron Man and then all the way up through Endgame. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm on the up and up.
Is it weird to just be stuck at home, or have you guys done like Uber Eats or like, you know, how are you?
We've done like Uber Eats and I've discovered Instacart, which is like a grocery app. But yeah, God. It hasn't been terrible. I've been drinking a shit ton of water and taking vitamins, and Michael just brought me tea. I'm just waiting for it to cool. It's actually probably good now, but yeah,
that's nice.
It's been good.
Good.
Yeah, he still has a little bit of a cough, but he has his appetite back. He has his strength back because he was like really weak. Like he was like walking like hunched over, and it was just like pathetic. I know. And he's very like strong. Like it was just very, very weird. At one point I got kind of snappy with him and he was like, why are you so upset? And I just burst into tears. And I was like, seeing you like this, he was like laying in the bed and it was just really pathetic. And it just made me just start sobbing. It was just ridiculous. But yeah, we're on the up and up. But yeah,
it'll be great to see you eventually.
I know. I have this really sinking feeling that we did the same thing.
What? No, we didn't.
I don't know why. I just have this feeling.
You feel like that like every single
I know.
episode.
And I was going to say, I know I feel like this every time, but for some reason, I even said in the shower today, I told Michael, I was like, I have this really bad feeling, Amanda, and I did the same thing. But we'll just see.
Wait, welcome to Weirdify.
Oh, welcome to Weirdify.
Ladies and gentlemen. Hello, welcome to your favorite weird show. Well, I don't know if it's your favorite. We hope it is, but thanks.
It's our favorite.
I'm your host, Amanda.
And I'm your other host, Haley.
And today, what's our topic, Haley?
We are covering
I totally forgot that we were recording a podcast.
It's funny that you were like, oh, I guess welcome to Weirdify, because in my mind, I was like, oh,
We're just like chatting.
We need to open. We need an opening. We have to introduce the podcast.
Right. I mean, at this point, they've got to know what they're tuning into, right? I mean, they logged into the app, they pushed the pink circle, they know. So,
yeah.
Well, here you are.
We're covering weird buildings.
Yes. Okay, so I think you go first this week, right?
Nope, you go first.
I go first? Okay, I did the Winchester Mansion.
Damn it! I knew it!
You did it?
Yes! I knew it. I had this sinking feeling, and I was like, it is one of the most popular, most weird buildings, structures, stories, all of it. And I was like, oh my God. And I even thought I was going to do, like, I was going to set up a backup. And I was like, no, I was like, I'm just going to move forward. We haven't had the same one this whole time. I knew it.
Wow, it happened. And this is episode 13. And that was her favorite number.
Yes. I was going to say that. I actually I was bringing up my notes, and that's like what I honed in on. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's the 13th episode.
I just realized that today when I looked at what you titled the Zoom was episode 13, and I was like, oh, how coincidental. I love that this is okay. You know what? Even better. Let's just let Sarah take it away then. Let's let this house speak for itself. It obviously wants the floor and it's got it.
Yeah. I can't believe we did the same one. Actually, I can't believe it, but
I'm so happy it was this one. Of all of them, it just feels so right.
Yeah, I'm actually not too upset about it, to be honest. I mainly am just like, damn it, Amanda's gonna go first. And I was like, and then it seems like I have nothing else to offer.
I am sure that that's not going to be true. And please, like, as I'm talking, like, jump in with like your stuff too. I mean, I may have it later on down like in my thing, but it's fine. Like, let's just talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll just banter off of each other then.
You can just run through whatever you have, and then if there's other,
yeah. We're just gonna roll with it. It's gonna work out great.
Yeah, and if there's anything that I may have had that you didn't, then I'll just chime in.
And I'm sure you have different information than me too, because there is so much about this place.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's great. Okay, that's exciting. All right. Well, the Winchester Mansion, or the Winchester Mystery House, I guess as it's known as now. Okay. Did you not have so much fun like looking into this? I had so much fun researching this.
Well, I already knew about it. Like, I knew the story.
So did I, but I mean, and that's kind of why I wanted to look into it.
Yeah, it was interesting because I've heard multiple podcast episodes about this, and I've seen like shows about this, and I've seen the movie, and so I knew a lot about it. But it was fun to dive in and like kind of refresh
right
little facts and stuff that I might have otherwise forgotten or maybe just didn't know. So yeah, it was fun, and it's a very strange place. So.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a good time, and I'm excited to hear what you came up with.
What I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so located in San Jose at 525 South Winchester Boulevard, the mansion and its rich history are known for a multitude of reasons. And while a lot of them may be true, there's also a lot of legends or supposedly legends or just lure about the house that have sort of been added to and from the story over the years. So I guess I'm just going to kind of start with an overview of how it got here and then kind of go into like the oddities of the house so that there's like a structure to the house.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I have a lot of dates. Okay. To start. Just get through a few years with me. So in New Haven, Connecticut in 1939, our main character, Sarah Lockwood Party, was born.
1839?
Yeah.
I was like, she definitely died in the 20s.
She definitely died in 1922. Okay. Yeah. Right. 1839, she's born. In 1862, Sarah marries William Wirt Winchester, who was the owner of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. They developed the repeater, or the repeating rifle, which was able to shoot 15 rounds in 15 seconds and was revolutionary for the time. It was actually nicknamed the gun that won the West because of its immense role during the westward expansion during that time. So William was like, loaded. Okay. They had a daughter named Annie Party Winchester, who sadly died 40 days after being born of marasmus, which is where the body can't digest food, or like it can't digest nutrients. So she basically starved to death, even though obviously she comes from like this rich family and stuff.
To be honest, the places that I looked, it said she died from like a childhood illness. I knew that she had died like 40 days later, but they just said like childhood illness. So I actually didn't know what she had passed away from. So that was something new that I learned.
Yes, marasmus is what it was called. So she was born and died in 1866. And then 15 years later, her husband William dies in 1881 of tuberculosis. His death leaves Sarah with an inheritance of $20 million, which is approximately $530 million today.
Mm-hmm.
She also inherited 50% ownership of the Winchester Repeating Rifle Company, which gave her a daily allowance of $1,000 or approximately $27,000 today. Yeah.
I know. I saw that and I was like, holy crap. It's always when they do like the conversion of the numbers into today's standards and you're like,
I mean, shit, I would take $1,000 now too. And I would also take $27,000. Like this lady was freaking balling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she then went to Europe for a few years and traveled around. Much of her travels there inspired the mansion design. There's like German inspiration over here, some French inspiration over there. Some people think that she like was maybe part of the Freemasons and she got a lot of inspiration for that there as well. After coming home, she found out that her sister had passed. And at this point, both of her parents have passed. Her sister has passed. Her husband has passed. Her child has passed. Her daughter also was named after William's deceased sister, Annie. I guess they were also both like buried in the same cemetery. Allegedly, she seeks out the help of a medium, which I learned was actually really popular around this time. Like spiritualism and mediums and seances were like all the rage. So she really wasn't that weird. She was kind of like trending for the 1800s. So she goes to this medium who apparently channels her husband and tells her that she is cursed or haunted by the ghosts of the lives that the Winchester rifles have taken. And that there's a lot of these spirits because these Winchester rifles take more and more lives every day, and that she needs to build a house for them. And she needs to build a big house because there's a lot of them. Oh, and build this house. And if you stop construction, then you'll die.
Right. You know, the standard.
Totally standard. Yeah, absolutely. So in 1884, she leaves New Haven and moves west. She buys a plot of land in San Jose. It's an unfinished farmhouse. I guess it had like 8 bedrooms on it. And she begins building in 1886. Okay, so I kind of want to paint a picture of Sarah during this construction because it just adds to her illusion. So she's 4'11", so she's really tiny. She was also known to be fairly private and reserved. She would turn down like any and all interview offers. She always wore a veil and gloves. And in fact, I don't know if this is true, but I saw this one place that only her butler and her niece were allowed to see her without a veil. And it's believed that she wore gloves because she had arthritis in her hands. So her hands were kind of mangled. So she would wear these gloves to hide that. She was also very charitable. She donated to tons of various charities. Her and her husband both went to Yale, although I don't think that's where they met. And she ended up donating tons and tons of money to like a specific charity through Yale that researched chest stuff, which like some people think was like so that less people would have to suffer from maybe what her husband died of, tuberculosis. So her favorite number was 13. Yes, we've already established that. And that number is represented continually throughout the house. It only has 4 floors now, but at one point it was 7 stories high. She actually had the forethought to build the home on a floating foundation, which came in real handy in 1906 because there was an earthquake and caused major structural damage to the upper floors. She actually got stuck in the Daisy room for several hours until her servants found her, which I guess really scared her. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously. Why wouldn't I guess she took this as a sign like that the spirits thought construction might end. So I guess she took a break from construction. And then when she came back, she kicked it into high gear, but building out instead of up this time. That is one of the many reasons that a lot of people think that she was actually an architectural genius instead of just a crazy lady. I feel like I want to like pass the floor to you or something.
Okay. I mean, if you want, I can jump in, and then if there's other tidbits that you feel you want to throw in, then absolutely feel free.
Sure.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Because you went in much more detail than I did. So yeah, she purchased a small unfinished farmhouse in San Jose, California. She hired carpenters to begin building additions to the farmhouse. Like you said, horizontally mainly after the earthquake versus vertically. And they would continue working around the clock for 38 years total. So from the beginning of construction to the time that Sarah Winchester died, people were working round the clock.
See, but I heard that that's not true.
Really?
Yeah, that's totally the legend. And that she was actually known to let her employees go for months at a time so that they could rest like she would want to rest.
Interesting.
And that they would like all take breaks and like stuff like that. Like there was always construction going on, but it wasn't 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days. I guess like somebody who was very close to her wrote like a biography about her and talks a lot about these legends about her that are just, or like legends about the house that are just kind of seemingly that.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. And I read that she did not hire an architect for the project. So it was just carpenters and woodworkers and everything else, but there was no actual architect. So there were no blueprints or tangible this is the plan for what we're going to do for all of these buildings and extensions and additions and stuff. So they just kind of haphazardly threw stuff together. So,
I guess she had originally hired architects and they just pushed back because, I mean, look at the house, you know?
Yeah.
And so she was just like, no, okay, you're fired. I got this.
Interesting.
I want to build my dream home.
Yeah. See,
my millions.
The stuff that I read or the stuff that I found was more like, yeah, she like lived in fear and she's like, okay, I got to get this done. Cause like she was born into privilege. She married into privilege. She spared no expense, which I was going to cover later, but on like the stuff that she put into the house. And so it's like, but the fact that there are like things that just don't add up. So there were rooms added onto exterior walls. So there's windows overlooking other rooms, multiple staircases with different size risers. So they just look cattywampus and just off kilter. And so it's just really interesting because on one end, she had very lavish, like spared no expense, gold and silver chandeliers, Tiffany like stained glass windows.
Yes.
All of it. And then she also has like rooms that, I don't know, look over into other rooms or staircases that don't lead anywhere. All of it. So it's just
the Tiffany Co window, I guess, was custom made for the house.
Yeah, but I think by Tiffany himself.
Yes, and then she put it in a room with no light, and the idea of the window was that when sunshine shined through it, it would shine a rainbow. And she put it in a room that doesn't get any light.
Yeah, so it just completely defeated the purpose. But and then I heard that was stolen. A lot of the things were. So I want to say it was when the earthquake happened. So a lot of bits and pieces were actually stolen.
Oh, people stole it from her.
Yeah.
Not she stole it from people. Okay. I was like, why?
No.
Why is she running around stealing just crystal?
Oh, no. It was just looted because
gotcha.
That thing would be like in a museum. You know what I mean? Like just worth so much money now.
Yeah.
But it just was taken, and I guess I don't know where it is now, but
that's crazy. No, I did not hear that people stole that, but I did hear after the earthquake that she like buttoned up construction where it was and just like stopped. And like there's still remnants of what the house was like before the earthquake, and that they've actually used like the wallpaper and the tiles and stuff like that to help them kind of maintain and keep the house alive now.
Because there's still unfinished parts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically it was never really, there was never,
I feel like there was always unfinished.
I feel like there was never like a point at which it was going to be finished. And I heard that she would use that as an excuse to not have people over. Like she'd be like, you know what? No, the house is under construction.
Sounds
you know what? I'm just going to stay in tonight. No one coming over. Yeah. Construction's just running amok, you know. It's been 37 years, Sarah. It's been 37 years of construction. When can I come over? One more year.
I'm just one more year. We're almost there. It's just not there yet. It's just not there yet.
I need one more staircase that goes to nowhere. Yeah. You were talking about like all the beautiful designs. I was watching a YouTube video of these hinges on the wall, and like the heaters and even the doorknobs are like the most beautiful pieces of art you've ever seen. Like the quality of stuff in this house is just like, I mean, why wouldn't it be? Because of the amount of money, but it's also the 1800s. So somehow she's getting all of these items to her. It's not like now where you can just like Amazon today. It's like,
Yeah.
no, she's obtaining all of these materials and things and items in this very specific spot in a time when travel was not like the most convenient, you know?
Right. I put that in my notes. I'm trying to find where it is. So yeah, just to name a couple of things. I read that she had initially wanted the mansion to be built exclusively from redwood.
Oh, yeah. And most of it is made of wood.
Yeah. And then after it was built, she ended up not liking the look of the redwood. So she had it completely restained and then a faux grain put onto it.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, if you have the money, what, you know, whatever, that's fine. And then I guess since its construction, there's been 20,000 gallons of paint.
Yes. So much paint
over the course of its existence that have just been lacquered onto this house.
Okay, I don't know what a cupola is, but apparently the front cupola has been like when she was renovating the house or, you know, living there doing her thing, it was torn down and rebuilt 16 times. She's like, nope, not
surprised it wasn't 13
again.
times.
Try again. Yeah, right. Seriously. It's 24,000 square feet. I don't know if we already said that.
6
so just
acres.
In case we didn't. Yeah, it's freaking huge. Okay, I want to talk about the numbers of stuff really quick because I have a list of like a bunch of numbers. So it's got about 160 rooms, and there's still being rooms discovered with like chairs and just like things in it. Like, oh, here's a room we didn't know. Look at that. There's 17 chimneys, 3 elevators, 47 fireplaces, 2,000 doors, strangely 1 shower.
Yeah, the one working bathroom out of the 13.
Yeah. 6 kitchens, 52 skylights, 10,000 window panes, the 13 bathrooms. Yeah, one of which she used. I heard that there was only 1 working bathroom, but then I also heard that she just only used 1 bathroom and that the rest was used for her staff. So I don't know which one's true.
Yeah, I heard that it was just the one working one, and that was like going into the lore of like the spirits.
Yeah.
It was to deter. So that way there's 13 bathrooms, sure, but anyone's like spirits who wanted to haunt a leaky faucet, pull a moaning myrtle, they could, you know, they would get confused, and then you would actually be safe to like go to the bathroom in peace.
Gotcha. There's like also cabinets that only go a few inches deep, which I find really interesting. But there was one thing. There's also chimneys that stop like right before the ceiling. That was like another interesting little house facet.
Yeah. A lot of just weird things.
She does have a lot of stairs that only have like a 2-inch rise, but that they think is because she had arthritis. And so because she could custom design this house, it was a lot more comfortable for her to walk around the house with these little stairs.
Yeah.
So even though they look weird and add to the like oddity of it, that one actually was like, I don't know, logical.
Yeah.
Or at least that it was all haphazardly thrown together. But if you really like look at it, a lot of it is actually genius. Okay, I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but some of the amenities were the first of its kind.
Yep, that's what I was trying to get to.
Okay, perfect. What's your first amenity?
I have to find it.
See, we're making this work. I love it.
Yeah. It's different.
It is because it's unexpected. So we're like improving, but I was like, I don't really want to just read all of mine. Like, let's banter.
I know, that's why I'm like,
better.
You just read your whole story, and I'm like, all right, so you can find us at Weirdify Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. And until next time, I promise I'll have a story to share.
Oh. No, this is much better. I was like, this just feels wrong because I can feel her going, yep, I have that in my notes. Yep, I have that in my notes.
I know. No, it's working out. It's
perfect,
all good.
Perfect. I hope it's flowing. I hope it's flowing.
I think there's going to be a lot to edit out, but I think we'll make it. It's going to be fine. I think it's
totally
thus far. Okay, so it actually had running water and hot water, which was amongst other things was just unheard of for that time period.
Right.
Or kind of boiling water and adding it to your tub and doing that like 75 times in order to get like a warm bath. Yeah.
That's interesting. I actually didn't even have that in mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The most clever thing that truly is like, how did she even think of this? And I don't fully understand how it works. But there was like boxes all over the house with like the numbers 1 through 9. And she was able to pull a number somehow, and that number would pop up all around the house. And so if the number 2 popped up, her servants would know that she was in a certain portion of the house.
Oh, because it was just so vast. So she had like a GPS.
Kind of, yes.
Before
but
her time.
How she integrated all of these things to be able to pop up simultaneously, and then her servants know this is section 1, this is section 2, this is section 3. So if she pops it up here, then she's over here in the house.
Yeah.
It's just so genius to me because this house is so vast. Like if you needed help or something like that, you're like, I'm hungry, or I don't know what she has servants for, but it just makes it a lot easier for her to find somebody and for somebody to find her. So I thought that was really, really interesting. She also had these electric switches, I guess, for the lights, which was also like
I had that in my notes too.
unheard of for the time. What else you got?
I also read that she had central heating.
I didn't read that. I love that. She was the first person, or speculated to be one of the first people, if not the first person, to use wool for insulation.
I didn't know that.
She was also the first person to use cranks to open and close outside window shutters.
I don't have that.
I know we talked about like the quality of stuff too, but she was really into stained glass, and there is beautiful stained glass all over the house. And some of it was even custom designed by her. She has these really cool spider web stained glass. So just another interesting design feature of the house. Oh, her staff, I guess, consisted of like 18 servants and 20 gardeners. So I'm like, she has more gardeners than servants.
I mean,
that would be me if I was a millionaire.
Yeah.
I'm like, please tend to my plants and keep them absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And then bring me a croissant. Not to be confused with the golden raisin. I guess she paid all of her staff incredibly well, and that she had staff from all over the world, which some think was a way that she could like give back to inheriting money from like a rifle company that she's apparently cursed from. And she would pay like double or triple what people would normally get paid for their work. So you mentioned that she didn't have a blueprint, right? And that there was never blueprints used for the building of this mansion. So how do you know what to construct next? Let's talk about the nightly seances that she would hold between midnight and 2 a.m. Why don't you take it away?
Yeah. So she would hold them. And then it said that the spirits would tell her what they wanted and what would make them happy, which is why there's a lot of these weird additions to the home, staircases that go up to the ceiling, but don't take like you anywhere.
Go down and then go right back up.
Yeah. Or there was doors that open to either solid walls, or I read that there's a couple doors that open to like a 15-foot drop into the garden. So it's just like you open the door and then there's just a sheer drop.
Yeah, where there should be a balcony, there is nothing.
It's just nothing. And then you just
air.
fall into the garden. Yeah. And then there's another one, same situation, but then it goes, it's like an 8-foot drop onto like a sink.
Corners. Oh, yeah. No. That one's okay. I heard that one was in the seance room. So there's one way into the seance room, and there was like 3 ways out of the seance room. And so within the seance room, there's one room that you open up, and you open up into the kitchen sink of another floor. Like the door just opens and you like are stepping into a sink. Yeah, which the seance room was very interesting. I guess at midnight they would ding a bell, and that would invite the spirits in. And then at 2 a.m. they would ding another bell, and that would dismiss them. But then here's my thing. Everyone's like, oh, she built the house to confuse the spirits. But then every night she's like, what's up, spirits? What do you want me to do? And then they're like, this, and this. And then she's like, what's up, foreman? Change your plans. Stop that. Demolish that. Add that. Reconstruct that. So it's like it's like this interesting almost contradiction to itself within the same theory. But at the same time, there's also, if there's all these spirits running around in the house, she may have still been building the house to confuse them. Because like I read that, if there's always these spirits on her trail, like sometimes she could just like slip through a door and like lose them.
Yeah, secret passageways and stuff.
Exactly. There are some who say that it's like one of the most haunted places ever. And for good enough reason. I mean, if this house was truly built for all of these spirits, then why wouldn't they be there? Right? Like it was built for them. Of course they're there, right? But if you just believe that that's like the legend and the myth and the lore, then maybe it's not haunted. But people have reported seeing doorknobs move on their own, footsteps when no one's walking, the ghosty orbs, items moving in the house for no reason, random cold chills, all the normal paranormal-y stuff. People have reported seeing the heiress herself or hearing like ghost cries near the Daisy room where she was found trapped. as well as seeing just ghosty staff around the house. There's also a ghost named Clyde that you can find him in one of the 2 basements, and he sort of roams around there at night. Allegedly, I just say allegedly because if you don't believe in ghosts, again, this is all BS, but one of the most haunted rooms is the Grand Ballroom, where the chandelier is known to swing all by itself.
I'm gonna swing.
I hated nobody swinging. What's going on? Its broken organ is also known to play randomly throughout the night. People are known to see apparitions of staff working in the ballroom. Harry Houdini also visited the mansion to debunk it. He's like, no, it's not haunted. Y'all are tripping. And then he left and he was like, okay, this place is creepy.
I read that he was like, yeah, no, there's something not right for sure. That
Totally. Yeah. He left feeling exactly like, maybe.
Just maybe.
But then there's others who say that if you tell somebody to find a ghost, that they might find a ghost, right? Like if you're like, hey, this place is haunted. Actually, I was going to say that I think it was in Germany or something, but there was a study done where they sent people into the same house and said it's haunted. And then they sent this group in and told them that it wasn't haunted. And the people who were told it was haunted had more things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
like your
so
mind's
it's like
playing tricks on you,
exactly.
kind of a thing. Yeah.
Or like if you're heightened aware to it, like you might not have noticed that corner was as cold if you didn't know to know. But if you're like, oh, that corner was chilly.
Right.
So the other reason that a lot of these things might happen too, though, is because of the odd way that the house was built and designed, as in all of these weird staircases and doors and rooms being built and deconstructed. There's tons of ways for like animals or just critters to get in there and make noise. I'm sure that there's not probably consistent insulation throughout the house. Like I'm sure that there's drafts, spaces in between walls that can create, a normal house settles. So imagine how that house sounds when it's settling, So the likelihood of strange noises and stuff like that is not really that weird. But then hearing like a ghost cry and a, gray orb in the corner, that's a little weird. Okay, so friends of Mrs. Winchester didn't even really like that the house is now this haunted tourist attraction because they don't really feel like it represents her and what the house really was to her or meant to her, and that it's basically just a result of rumors. Obviously, like the thing is, she suffered so much grief and loss that she built this crazy house because of these spirits, right? But there's also another side of it. Studies now that can like view back on her life say that she might have actually been suffering from PTSD, and she may have even had OCD that could have been triggered as like an onset from inflammation from her brain from the arthritis.
Oh, interesting.
That
I haven't heard that
into this house. Yeah. So that, that's like, medical. And I am not saying that, I'm not saying anything that I'm saying is true about like all of this house. It's all sort of speculation as to what you believe.
Right.
But from like a medical side or like a logical side, she could have been having some weird stuff going on in her brain from her arthritis that could have been the manifestation of this crazy, crazy house.
Right.
There's a whole nother theory that she was part of the Freemasons. I'm not getting into that, but there's definitely like Freemason symbols and a lot of correlations between things that, I don't know, the Freemasons do and use, and entryways and stair points and things like that are like also represented.
Mm-hmm.
So she died on September 5th, 1922, and construction stopped and never restarted. I think we said that.
Yeah.
There is regular construction now, or not regular construction.
Maintenance
now.
Yeah.
I read that the roof is so big that it's painted year round. Like it just never stops being painted. So maybe
because once you like quote unquote finish, you have to start right back again.
You're like,
because it's just all this wear and tear, and you're like, and we're back at it again.
That corner's all faded again.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just like its destiny to always have work be done on it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fitting that something is being worked on the house. I don't know. It seems like it is.
Right.
So obviously she left this incredible legacy. And what I find really interesting too is that she never did tell anybody why she did it. Like that is the whole thing.
I know.
Like you can speculate, you can believe this, you can believe that. But as far as like credible, actual hard evidence proof,
yeah,
we don't know why she built the house. We have no idea. So it's very interesting. But she did leave it to her nieces and nephews who ended up auctioning it off.
it's interesting because I read that she left left all of her belongings and all of the contents of the house to her niece Marion, who was like her caregiver, I guess, for later in life. But I read that the house itself was never mentioned in her will, which is just adds to it. It's like mystery. So like the actual items in the house and like the other possessions of hers, she gave to her niece. But the house itself just was never, I guess, even mentioned.
Interesting.
It was just like the remainder of like her inheritance from her husband and things like that. So yeah, that's something that I read. The legitimacy of that, I'm not 100% sure, but
right. Interesting. Yeah, I heard that it took them 6 weeks to get the furniture out. Like there was just so much stuff.
Yeah, I did read that.
Insane. Well, the house was eventually appraised and then auctioned off. It was appraised at like $130,000, which is amazing because she put 5.5 million, but it just wasn't. I mean, it wasn't something that people were going to spend millions of dollars on.
Right. It like just seemed really cattywampus and just all over the place. So I'm sure it detracted from the appeal of living there or owning it.
So it was sold to some investors, and a lot of people kind of say that that's where like the legends of the house started. The person who I guess like bought the house or eventually, very, very near down the line got his hands on the house was an entertainer. I read somewhere that he also worked for Disney, but I only read that one place. But he did like amusement and stuff like that. So it's like, what sells better, right? A house haunted by the ghosts of all these Winchester rifles and a crazy lady who's building this place to confuse spirits, la 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 la. Or somebody who might just have like brain swelling from arthritis. What's going to sell tickets better?
Right.
So one of my favorite weird facts and kind of like my final fact is that, and I'm sure you know this, but Disney drew some of his inspiration for the Haunted Mansion from the Winchester house.
Yes.
Oh, you mentioned her will. I was going to say her will was divided into 13 sections.
Yes. And she signed it 13 times.
13 times. Yes.
Just to go with the theme. Just to tie it all up.
Episode 13.
You did a beautiful job. I think you had everything that I had. Perfect. You had even more. I love that I actually learned some stuff.
I love that too.
That I didn't
Well,
have.
I learned some stuff from you too. So that's great. But you're looking in these places and I'm looking in these places and they're going to have, slightly different information here and there. So no, I love that.
Yeah.
Definitely an interesting, twist, unexpected
it
twist,
was
just like the Winchester house. It's all meant to be. I love it.
I know. Lucky 13 or unlucky 13 or just something about 13.
I love it. Well, this was fun. I wish that you were now going to tell me about another building.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Had a lot of fun talking about the Winchester house with you.
No, it was good. I think it was smoother than I thought it was going to be. We should go.
Yes.
When it's open again.
I would love nothing more. Love nothing more.
Yeah, that I would do.
I'm going to just type in the Winchester house
and see the distance.
And there we go. 7 hours and 4 minutes. And there's a sushi place right next door. Great.
Oh,
it's all working out according to my ultimate design. Yeah. Well, thanks for tag teaming that one with me.
For sure. Unintentional, but it all worked out. It was fun. It was a good time.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, if you've ever been to the Winchester house or you know of anybody who has, or you've ever been to
something creepy,
or you've ever been to any weird house or building, then write us in at weirdifypodcast@gmail.com or any of your other weird stories. We love to read them back at you.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find us on Twitter
and Instagram at weirdifypodcast.com.
I always add the .com, even though I know it's not .com. It's just
.com.
It's not at weirdifypodcast.com. It's at Weirdify Podcast, but whatever.
It's fine.
They know. You can find us on Facebook too.
Yep. You can join our Facebook group. All the happenings.
Those are our places. Oh, you can find us on YouTube as well.
Oh my gosh, the YouTubes.
That's right. Now we're not video on YouTube, so it's just another place for our audio, but there is just a little, video that we put together with a sound bite and all that. But you can also listen to Weirdify now on YouTube.
Yay. And that's still, again, at Weirdify. Podcast.
Yes.
.com. Just kidding. Not .com.
Well, we hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about the Winchester Mansion, and we will see you guys next time for another round of weird shit.
Yes, we'll be in better health. Well, I'll be in better health.
Yes, right. And I will actually be out of town next time, so I will be recording from a weird background or a weird place.
Yes, but it'll still be epic.
Yes.
And we're still bringing that content to y'all.
All right, guys. Well, until next time, remember, keep
it